Welcome to Ranting Politics Headline Updates, where we break down the biggest stories with zero filter and all the facts you need to know. We've got a packed show for you today. Senator Rand Paul is back with his annual Festivus Report, and boy, does he have some jaw-dropping numbers about government waste that'll make your wallet cry. Then, we're diving into President-elect Trump's surprising stance on H-1B visas that's got Elon Musk celebrating and some MAGA loyalists fuming. Plus, there's fresh drama at the border as courts block the Biden administration's fire sale of wall materials. And stick around for our sobering look at America's homelessness crisis, with new numbers showing an alarming spike that's reshaping our cities. It's a story that affects every corner of the country, so buckle up and get ready for your daily dose of political straight talk. This is Ranting Politics Headline Updates. According to the Washington Times, Senator Rand Paul's 10th annual Festivus Report just dropped, and folks, the numbers are absolutely mind-boggling. We're talking about over $1 trillion in questionable government spending. That's trillion with a capital T. Let's break down some of these eye-popping expenditures. The biggest offender? A whopping $892 billion paid in interest on what Paul calls Uncle Sam's credit card. Then there's $90 billion spent on Navy littoral combat ships that Paul has nicknamed little crappy ships. And yes, that's their actual performance level, not just clever wordplay. But wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on how you look at it. The government dropped $15.5 billion promoting electric vehicles that Paul claims Americans don't want. And $10 billion maintaining ghost town office buildings where federal employees rarely show up anymore thanks to remote work. And here's where it gets truly bizarre. The National Endowment for the Arts handed out a $10,000 grant for something called Beards on Ice, a climate change-themed ice skating performance by the Bearded Ladies Cabaret. They also spent $20 million on a Sesame Street spin-off in Iraq called Alan Simsim to promote inclusion and mutual respect. Paul points out that while these might seem like small potatoes compared to the trillion-dollar total, every dollar counts when our national debt has ballooned from $34 trillion to $36 trillion in just 1 year. The senators working with President-elect Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, aiming to slash $2 trillion in annual government waste. As Paul puts it, both political parties share the blame, continuing to vote for massive spending bills packed with subsidies, military aid, and controversial climate initiatives, while American taxpayers foot the bill through high prices and crushing interest rates. In a surprising turn of events reported by the New York Post, President-elect Trump has thrown his support behind the H-1B visa program, aligning himself with tech titan Elon Musk in what's becoming a heated debate within MAGA circles. Trump didn't mince words, stating directly, "I've always liked the visas. I have always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them." The former president, speaking candidly about his own business experience, revealed he's used the program extensively at his properties, calling it a great program. This stance puts him squarely in the corner of tech industry leaders who argue these visas are crucial for American innovation and competitiveness. The debate reached boiling point when Musk engaged in a fiery exchange on X, formerly Twitter. After being challenged about his support for H-1B visas, Musk unleashed a passionate defense, declaring, "The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. He even threatened to go to war on this issue. This has created quite the stir among MAGA loyalists, with prominent voices like Steve Bannon and Ann Coulter pushing back against the program. But Vivek Ramaswamy, who's set to co-lead Trump's Department of Government Efficiency with Musk, backed the Tesla CEO's position, arguing that American culture has begun to prioritize mediocrity over excellence. The debate centers on a crucial question. Should America prioritize protecting domestic jobs, or focus on attracting what Musk calls the top 0.1% of engineering talent to keep the nation competitive? With Trump now seemingly siding with the tech sector, this could signal a significant shift in Republican immigration policy heading into his second term. In a significant legal victory for Texas, a federal court has ordered the Biden administration to halt its controversial practice of selling off border wall construction materials. This ruling comes at a critical time, just months before President-elect Trump returns to office, and has major implications for the future of border security. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced the successful court order, confirming that the Biden administration must cease disposing of any border wall materials over the next 30 days. This development follows growing concerns about the administration's decision to sell excess materials at markedly low prices, a move that began after Biden initially stopped wall construction. Trump himself had previously condemned these sales, characterizing them as almost a criminal act. His frustration centered on the practical implications, noting that replacing these materials would likely cost taxpayers double what they originally paid, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. The dispute stems from last year's National Defense Authorization Act, which had given the Biden administration authority to dispose of unused border wall materials. However, this latest court order effectively puts the brakes on that process, preserving these resources for potential future use. This ruling builds on Texas's recent commitment to assist Trump in completing the border wall project. Paxton emphasized their determination to hold the Biden administration accountable until their final day in office, particularly regarding actions that appear designed to impede Trump's immigration agenda. The timing of this decision is particularly significant as we approach the presidential transition, potentially preserving crucial resources for what Trump has indicated will be a renewed focus on border security initiatives in his upcoming term. The latest federal report from the Department of Housing and Urban Development paints a grim picture of America's housing crisis, with homelessness surging by a staggering 18.1% this year. More than 770,000 people were counted as homeless in January's tally, and experts say even this sobering number likely understates the true scale of the crisis. What's particularly alarming is the unprecedented 40% spike in family homelessness, with nearly 150,000 children experiencing homelessness on a single night in 2024. This represents a heartbreaking 33% increase from last year. The surge has been especially pronounced in major cities grappling with migrant arrivals, with places like Denver, Chicago, and New York City seeing their family homelessness numbers more than double. Natural disasters have also played a significant role, particularly in Hawaii, where the devastating Maui wildfires left over 5,200 people in emergency shelters. Meanwhile, skyrocketing rents and the end of pandemic assistance programs have pushed more Americans into homelessness for the first time. There are some bright spots in the data, notably among veterans, where homelessness dropped 8% overall and unsheltered cases declined by 11%. Some cities have made impressive progress too. Dallas achieved a 16% reduction through system reforms, while Los Angeles reported a 5% drop in unsheltered homelessness. But the national trend remains deeply concerning. This marks the second consecutive year of sharp increases, following a 12% rise in 2023. The crisis is particularly acute in California, which continues to have the nation's largest homeless population, followed by New York, Washington, Florida, and Massachusetts. Housing advocates warn that without significant investment in affordable housing and protective measures, these numbers will likely continue their upward trajectory. And that wraps up today's whirlwind tour through the headlines. From Senator Paul's eye-opening Festivus Report exposing trillion-dollar government waste, to Trump and Musk finding common ground on skilled worker visas, we've covered quite a bit of ground. We also saw the courts step in to preserve border wall materials and examined the troubling surge in nationwide homelessness that's affecting families coast to coast. For more political insights and breaking news, follow us on X at RantingRP and check out our website at rantingpolitics.com. Thanks for tuning in to Ranting Politics Headline Updates. We'll catch you next time with more stories that matter.